Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to MALN Opinion Plus, a weekly series airing every Friday. This is a space for our opinions where we talk about current events and questions the Latino community might have. This week, we're joined by Dr. Brenda Cassellius, Superintendent of Boston Public Schools. Thanks for joining us today, Dr. Cassellius.
Thank you, Diego. I'm glad to join you.
Of course. So starting out, the first day of classes is fast approaching, and with the spread of COVID-19 and the Delta variant not seeming to slow down at all, how are Boston Public Schools preparing to keep students safe as they start the school year with in-person classes for the first time in 2 years?
Well, thank you, Diego. We didn't think we'd be in this place where we were still working with the COVID, and we are really preparing for a safe return. We are going to start school on Thursday, September 9th for students in grades 1 through 12, and Monday, September 13th for our pre-kindergarten and kindergarten students. But there has been a lot of activity going on in preparation for our students to come back and our teachers to come back. We have three real major ways that we are going to mitigate COVID. And the first is we are requiring masking. We are also testing our students once a week. And we're asking parents to have their students who are 12 plus vaccinated, as well as all parents getting vaccinated. Those are the three core ways we're going to stay safe. We also did a lot of preparation last year with air quality and ventilation. And this year we are installing our data loggers or data sensors in classrooms so that we can keep track of the carbon dioxide, which is a proxy of how much COVID is in the air and how many air exchanges that we're getting. And so we want to make sure that we're getting enough air exchanges to move anything out that maybe was in there. And we are also asking parents to not send students to school if they are not feeling well. That's really, really important. So if anybody's feeling under the weather, we're asking them to stay home and also get COVID tested.
Those all sound great. I know this is a super big conversation happening across the country right now, and I'm wondering, how does the administration aim to keep students and teachers safe who may have disabilities or other health factors that could make it unsafe for them to attend in-person classes?
So, the state is requiring that everybody comes in person this year. So we don't have remote learning options, except for in small exceptions where there's a medical reason for them not to be able to come, and that will require a physician signature and note. There's a special state form. So if parents believe that their child has an underlying condition that would prevent them from being in person this year, we need to have that verification form from the family's physician.
Okay. And as for students who are mandated to undergo the 10-day quarantine after testing positive for COVID, I know that many low-income families have parents who work long days and aren't able to afford long-term childcare. And do Boston Public Schools have any plans to help these families and help mitigate that struggle?
Well, the wonderful thing this year is we have a new procedure in place where if someone is deemed a close contact, we can test you in school for 5 days. And if your test continues to come back negative, you will be able to stay in school. So just because you're a close contact does not mean that you can't attend school, but you will have to test for the next 5 days. If in fact you do come down with COVID, you then will have to quarantine for the 10 days.
All right. And would that stand for the same as all the people they came into contact with at school during that time?
That is correct. So anyone who was coming in contact with someone who was COVID positive, you will then test for 5 days. And then if that's always negative, then you will stay in school after those 5 days.
And so since you're mandating masks, no matter someone's vaccination status, how do schools plan on enforcing this policy and making sure that teachers and students uphold this?
So everybody's aware of the policy, both teachers and principals. And so they'll be walking around making sure that everybody has masks on. We'll just have to hold ourselves accountable as a community. There are times where we have students who do have some disabilities or very young children who will remove their mask. And we will gently just ask them to put it right back on again. As you probably know, having your mask off for more than 15 minutes in close proximity is where you would then have enough viral load to catch the virus. And so we're trying to avoid all of that and ensure that no one is unmasked for long periods of time. When students do go for a mask break, they will go for a mask break and they will be socially distanced in order to take that mask break.
Great. I wanted to talk a little bit about misinformation with the vaccinations. I know there's so much out there and so much misinformation about the virus itself. Do Boston Public Schools or your administration at all have any way of planning to fight and combat this to help educate students and encourage them to get vaccinated and protect themselves?
We have informational packets. We have informational videos. We have been sharing this information broadly with families, both via text and also in community meetings. We are going to continue to do so. We're working with Boston Medical and CIC Health in order to make sure that parents have the right information. It's very important for parents to know that it is safe. I've gotten the vaccine. My children have gotten the vaccine. I'll take the booster when it comes out if I have to take the booster. I've had a shingles vaccine. I've had a vaccine for hepatitis and all the other vaccines, measles, rubella, all the vaccines that we have to take. So we do know that they are safe. And the Pfizer vaccine was just recently announced that it had full authorization from the FDA. So I think it's really important that we don't believe everything that we hear or that we hear on the internet, but that we actually believe the science behind it. This vaccine is safe.
Great, thank you for that. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about your position as superintendent. I know you joined shortly before the COVID-19 pandemic began. Could you tell me a little bit what it was like acclimating to the work in a new school district at the time?
Well, it was a lot of fun. So I was able to go and visit 125 schools, which was wonderful. Wonderful to be able to go and visit all the different communities and visit with parents and teachers and school leaders and stakeholders and folks in the higher ed community and our funding community, our philanthropic community. It was just really great to get to know Boston. It's a beautiful city. And then the pandemic hit, unfortunately, 6 months later, approximately. And it was a lot of work to quickly shift, to get computers out, to feed our families and our children, to ensure for their safety, and to really redesign a whole new way of educating children remotely. And I got to say, that wasn't always fun. That was a bit of a challenge, but we really accomplished quite a bit over the last year. And then also in the meantime, as we prepared for health and safety, did a lot of work on our facilities and getting those ready, like fixing 12,000 windows and getting our bathrooms on a cycle to be cleaned and all ventilated, which was good, and all of the faucets working, and working on those bathroom renovations. And so still more work to do, but moving forward with that, and then also putting in clean water so that students can get clean water in our schools. So, a number of things that we're really, really proud of that we've been able to do during this past year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great to see how people have used that time to benefit their whole community. Could you tell me a little bit about ways that our audience and people in our school district can learn more about your reopening plan, who may be concerned about what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to www.bostonpublicschools.org/back to school. And we have a few more community meetings that we would like to invite everyone to. We have a back to school community meeting on Thursday, September 2nd, and also Tuesday, September 7th, both from 5:30 to 7 p.m. We have interpretation in all of our languages also available there. You can also go to bostonpublicschools.org/calendar for all other upcoming events like back to school COVID-19 vaccine clinics and find out other important dates and information.
Perfect. We'll be sure to include that information in our web document as well. I just want to thank you again so much for talking with us today, Superintendent Cassellius, and for being our guest on MALN Opinion Plus.
Thank you. So great to be with you. Excited to see the kids return.
Of course, aren't we all? Thank you so much.
Take care.
Join us for another episode next week. For more information about our discussion today, you can check out our web document on malatinonews.com. You can follow us on Twitter at malatinonews and Instagram at ma_Latino News. I'm Diego Viruel with MALN Opinion Plus. See you next time.